episode or race, whatever you want to call it, of the Full Throttle Sim Racing Mach1 Performance Cup Series. And what better track than to end the entire season at Daytona, the 2.5 mile super speedway that, if you watched this past weekend, took a lot of cars with it. So we could see that today, or we could see a really good battle all the way through 80 laps here tonight. The weather's looking pretty good. No rain in this forecast because we're in the virtual world and iRace has not implemented that. So, track temp is only 81 degrees. That's pretty low, considering every other track we've been to in the past few months has been right around the 100 or more. The air temp is only 77. So, it's a pretty cool track. The sun is kind of setting off into the sunset, so we might go, into nighttime before this thing is all said and done. But as always, my name is Jason on your left-hand side. To my right shoulder is Mr. Pashibi. How are you doing this fine Monday?
It's great to be here watching Daytona for the season finale. Hell of a racetrack to go out at. We saw what happened yesterday in real life, and that could happen here tonight as well. So anything's possible. It's tight with a points battle we got going on as well between the three of them. And Richie, as he mentioned at the end of the race last week during the interview, that he won't be here tonight. So that opens the door, and we got enough drivers here where you might see Chuck or Brody sneak their way in.
Yeah, we have 26 entries, it looks like, if I'm counting correctly. A couple, or at least one newcomer. It looks like Alan Crowell turned a few laps tonight in practice, and all the other guys have joined in through the session or through the season are all here to celebrate the season finale. That does put Richie Coy in a predicament. You don't want to wish bad things on your friends, especially your teammate, team owner Brody Hanna, but I mean, there is a chance he still can claim the points championship if Chuck and Brody, who were tied at 23 points out, if they wreck early, you never know. Richie cannot be here and still claim the trophy. Also, Brody and Chuck are at their own duel, of course, as we just mentioned, 23 points each. They are gridlocked, so they just have to finish one position in front of the other to claim second or even first place.
Yeah, the only difference, see if they both, I'm sure both of them will get up there and lead a lap at Daytona, so that'll probably offset it. So the only thing is if they can lead the most laps, so we'll have to keep an eye on that and see how that kind of plays out. But anything's possible. I mean, I know there's the margins are slim. Richie has almost a full lead to not have to worry about it, but with just enough people coming in here, we got enough drivers, that's going to make it close. So it'll be exciting to watch until the end. And what a place of Talladega. And we've already seen some wrecks out there, some 4 wide, 3 wide. I think we saw Brody get a little loose coming off of 4 a time or two. So, that car's going to be a handful tonight, Jeremy. It's going to be it's going to put on a show.
Yeah, I've seen some drivers complain of loose. Brody is one of them. I've seen a couple other guys just kind of, I don't know if they're just tweaking the setup to running on the edge, but some of these cars are not stable. And, the past couple years, it's been a discussion of why does your car get loose at a super speedway? These guys are trying to maximize everything out of their cars, and eventually you hit that edge. The car starts to tip over and wants to kick out a little sideways on you, especially on corner exit. That's where you're going to see that happen the most if we do see it during the race condition, where you go from that high 28-degree banking and you transition quickly down to, I think, under 10 degrees of banking as they go to the backstretch or entering the tri-oval portion. So definitely keep our eyes on that. Weather won't be a factor. There's tons of grip in the track, so it's all about the setups. See what you can't do to maximize and get your car to victory lane this evening to end off 2022 Season B.
Another big role too that's going to play here tonight, Jeremy's having teammates. And we mentioned a couple times Richie Coy's not going to be here tonight, and that's one of those teammates for Fury Motorsports, and they've kind of capitalized a lot on this restrictor plate racing on their pit stops, where they come in a little bit earlier than everyone else. And they're going to miss one piece of that puzzle tonight. It's just going to be you're going to have the 2 teammates, Tony Solari and Brody Hanna, there. That's going to be kind of doing themselves. So Brody's going to have to pick up some more friends tonight if he wants to kind of get his way up to the front. But we got a lot of other teams out here. We got some 4-car teams, 3-car teams. So we'll definitely see them working together tonight.
Yeah, and these front bumpers do not fully align up. So, I mean, you can't tango someone to get an advantage. You have to have 2, 3, 4 people behind you to make anything happen. So yeah, they definitely got to find some friends. I know Chuck Sweeting probably is not going to be on that list, I would imagine, but I know Tony Solari is going to be over the back bumper and Brody Hanna to try to maximize his point situation. But this is the end of practice. There's a route to kick it over to qualifying. So it's our time, as always, to thank our sponsors that allow us to do this every Monday night for you guys on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you're watching. We got you back at Nerd TV. So first and foremost, Full Throttle Sim Racing, thank you for allowing us to do this for 2 seasons throughout the entire extent of 2022 so far. We are coming back for 2022 Season C for the 10-race shootout that mimics the NASCAR Cup Series playoff format. So catch all the action from FTSR on Nerd TV for the entire 2022 year. And you're gonna, if you want to be a part of the action, FTSR.net is your home. That's Full Throttle simracing.net. Type it all out and get registered. Yeah, it's a whole new team system. It's a charter base where you pay in. The team owner literally buys the cars. The drivers come in for free. They accept a contract with X amount of percentage that's earned back to them per their performance. Pretty cool system. I don't think I've seen it anywhere else in the sim world. So come and join the action, FTSR.net. Mach1 Performance, continued partner for the Cup Series here every Monday night at Full Throttle. And if you're in the area with a local dirt track or asphalt car that needs some fabrication work, go nowhere else than Mach1 Performance. They've produced champions from both dirt and asphalt oval racing, and they have awesome products, and they're going to make your car run as fast as possible and make it look good too. So that's going to be at facebook.com/Mach1 Performance. Sim Racing Points, continued partner of Nerditudes and for the Full Throttle Sim Racing. They take care of FTSR's point system. It's if you go to FTSR.net, click on any stat that's listed, it's covered by Sim Racing Points, and it's professional looking. FTSR uses the full page layout, but it's definitely built for widgets as well if you don't want a full screen thing. Of your driver stats, your points, your schedules. You can go back in previous seasons just with a simple click, which some leagues don't really have that to offer, going back through history through a couple years. So this is all built into one really clean system. That's simracingpoints.com if your league's interested. Martin Sports over at martinsports906.com. Thank you guys for continuing to support the nerds in every shape possible to allow us to do this for you guys. And we all have a pair of the sim gloves that they offer. They are the best sim gloves in all of sim racing. So if you are a sim driver, probably you are if you're watching this, and you have problems with sweaty hands on the wheel, you're going to pick up a pair of the Martin Sports gloves, and they have tons of designs, 2 different styles. You have the gauntlet that covers the wrist. You have the shortcut one where it just covers your hand. So whatever you want in whatever color, essentially. And they do custom orders too. So whatever you want there, I recommend going to martinsports906.com. And when you pick up a pair, Super Nerd, it's going to get you 25% off anything really that you purchase over at Martin Sports. iRacing iFlag, continued flag partner for the Nerditudes. It's a 4x6 3D printed unit that sits on your desk, kind of completes the sim rig, gives you 30 different iRacing commands, all in a little visual setup on your desk. So if you don't have your spotter turned on, or whatever the case is, the system's got your back. It's going to be super bright. You know exactly what's going on, what flag. If you're high, low, it produces arrows and whatnot. It's an all-in-one product there to kind of complete that sim rig. So iRacingIFlag.com, Super Nerd at checkout again. This time's going to get you 15% off. Shout out to the Butt Kicker, audio partner for the Nerditudes. And if you want to kind of bring the track immersion into your sim rig, then you're going to pick up the Gamer 2 unit, especially from the buttkicker.com. And you're going to feel all the bumps and feels. You're going to just basically you're going to be at the track without actually being. So if you want to experience that in your sim rig, head over to thebuttkicker.com. Nerd TV at checkout code. It's going to save you 20% off. Thank you to Moonlight Speed at moonlightspeed.com. It's our asphalt setup partner for the Nerditudes, and they produce a lot of wins in our win column. One of the best in the business, and they update them frequently, consistently to kind of maximize your speed for each and every week that iRacing has out there. So if you want to be better than what you currently are, you're going to head over to moonlightspeed.com. And check out their pricing plans. They have weekly, they have individual tracks, they have a season package. So whatever your budget fits, they got you. And then lastly, Nerd Focus at nerdfocus.com, the energy partner for the Nerditudes. And they only have 2 drinks. Green is sugar and blue is sugar free. They both taste amazing regardless. And they keep you wired for hours on end. It's that think drink, kind of gets you through the day no matter what you're doing. So if you want that product, head over to nerdfocus.com. Super Nerd at checkout. It's going to save you 10%. And Kenny, looks like qualifying is go down the top 10 of the starting lineup.
Yeah, it looks like you're going to have Josh May. You're going to take the top spot tonight with the pole position with Nicholas Moreau coming off in second. Jonathan Vachon rolling off in third there. Brandon Elder is going to be rolling off fourth. Fifth place is going to be Steve Loomis. Sixth, Kyle Milken. Seventh, Sherwood Wilford. Eighth, Stephen Wu Allen. Ninth is going to be Brian Bliss. And round out the top 10, Ryan Dubois.
11th place, Ryan Chapman. 12th place on his outside is going to be the newcomer driver, Wayne Grossi, of part of Gator Racing. 13th place, Lane Allen. And to his outside in 14th will be Tony Solari. Starting in 15th is going to be Matthew Vachon. And to his outside is going to be Ryan Hedrick in 16th. 17th, you will find Joshua Johnson. 18th will be Justin Diltz. 19th, you're going to find James Wallace. 20th place is going to be Jonathan Varnoskis. 21st, Alex Murphy. 22nd, Martin Garreau. 23rd, Brody Hanna. 24th, Chris Beck. 25th, Chad Lang. And to round out tonight's 26 car lineup, Alan Crowell.
You know, one thing I did not see here, Jeremy, and I just noticed this now as we're going through, is I don't see Chuck Sweeting.
You know what? We were so focused on talking about the battle, and we did not actually pick out that car in the lineup. And you are absolutely correct. So we're coming down to the wire here, 23 points. Chuck's out. Chuck is out at this point. So 2-car battle between Richie and Brody. So Brody essentially needs to finish second or higher, second or first, to lock himself in, or if he gets, most laps led somehow, starting way back there in 23rd, he can kind of open that buffer a little bit to maybe finishing in 4th or 3rd and then tying or claiming. It's going to be really tough there, but Brody's got to, if he wants to get this championship, he needs to maximize every effort, make sure his pit stops are on point, take advantage, and try to bring home that championship.
Yeah, and he's starting in the back there, and that could be a strategy of just trying to not avoid anything that might happen early, or maybe he's just not comfortable with his car. We saw him get loose there twice in practice, so it's a question to see what happens there. So it'll be fun watching him come through the field, and I think we just got radio there. Josh May, he's going to actually be dropping to the rear off to the start here, so that'll be fun to kind of watch these guys drop back and see what happens. So it could get dicey here in the first couple of laps here, Jeremy.
Very common sight to see someone drop back to the end of the field. The O2 qualified first, so he got the best pit stall. Essentially, when he leaves his stall, he just has to roll off, and he can cross that line. And if there's a caution, it's going to help him in his favor. Not so much on a green situation, but a caution. You want that first spot. It's so easy to pass a car or two because you don't have to go up to full speed before you're there already. So you will see the 0-2 and that black car drop to the back on the back stretch. He's going to let everyone pass. He's going to take the safety route and ride out in the back for a while to feel out the field. Pace car does dip down, ready for the last green flag in 2022B. It is officially flying. The 0-2 with a good start over Nicholas Moreau, who did not get another pole, surprisingly. I think that's 9 for the season. Count that as a record in almost any league that you've seen. But pretty clean so far entering turn number 1. The inside line has definitely shown that it's early, at least in the first couple corners, as the 42 now is going to lead the outside with the 24 exiting turn number 2.
Come off, you see a couple guys already dipping down below the O line. Steve Loomis there, I think he was not expecting that, so he kind of jumped behind him. But yeah, you see Josh May going to the back and a couple of other ones, and everyone else is getting by and going side by side as we're heading into 3 and 4.
I don't know if the 0-2 is supposed to stay slow like that, but he did not get any room by Brian Bliss, who also came down there below the yellow line. Did not allow the 0-2 to come back up, and now he has to take the all slow route there on the apron side. So instantly, Josh Mayu, no draft. That's not going to play good for him as these laps continue to go winding down under green.
Yeah, no, the front pit stop's not going to work out in your favor if you this thing goes green and you lose a lap here early. So hopefully you can get back up there with something going on, but it's not looking good early. But back up in the field, Jim, we got a couple actually. It looks like the 10 car is now going to be dropping below the yellow line. He's going to go head to the back as well. As we see a couple of these guys here still getting racy. You mentioned Nicholas Moreau. I think he commented in the broadcast last week that he hasn't turned any laps here. So, it's Daytona, put down, turn left, but still get the second place in qualifying is pretty good if you haven't turned anything until this week.
This track is really easy to drive if you're in qualifying, but you have to have a setup. The setup means so much at this track for just straight up speed. And for some guy to come in here who's definitely dominant on the road course, pretty dominant overall when it comes to the 1.5 mile tracks, and for someone to not turn a lap at this track, which is completely unique and different than anything else on the circuit, for him to get P number 2, his team probably really assisted him to get a really good setup, or he learns really quick and is able to figure things out. Either way, this car is dialed in, and I think he's got a good shot to get another win under his belt before the season's over.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's got a good chance here, especially with some drafting help. And we see the outside lane trying to build up some momentum here. They're about 7 cars back of our leaders there, but the 55 has got a little help from the 42, so those two are making their way through, trying to pick off as much as they can. They kind of mentioned it yesterday. You want to gain on that outside, kind of in the corners there. You want to maintain it and then gain on the straightaway. So if you're not doing that, then that high line's not running. So we'll see how they can get grouped up. We see the Rumble Racing guys. They're kind of coming together in the back half of this group on the top side right now.
Yeah, the outside wants to go, but there's just so many cars right now on the bottom. It's kind of tough. You got to use a little bit of side draft to assist you to get moving forward. But right now the inside's proven to be the lane to be in right now. But as this race continues, I will expect that line to shift at some point. 6 cars on the top and about 12 or so on the bottom as they come down to the start-finish line to lead off lap number 5.
And we've been 24 laps in. Once we get closer, this thing's going to get a lot. Cars are going to go out tighter, and that's going to build up that momentum as well. But we see Brandon Elder there in the 51, Jeremy. He had another good qualifying effort and keeping it up front right now around that second spot. It's nice to see him up there. We know he's had a strain of bad luck over this last season here. Not trying to knock on some wood right now. Don't want to curse him, but having a great run so far early. And the 24, Stephen Llewellyn, we know he's got speed at these restrictor plates as well.
Yeah, Brandon Elder wants to come into season 2022C and kind of get a nice little refresh for the final 10 races to close out 2022. If he can get a good run tonight, maybe it'll boost his momentum. But right now, the top side, Ken, as they come across the line for lap 6, that 55 looking like he's putting on some pressure. He's just now inside the top 5.
Jonathan's driving up through the field. He's got the 17. Steve Loomis right beside him there. He's trying to make his way through. He's got some good drafting help. The guys behind him are keeping it nice and tight. You got the 42 there, Kyle Milliken with the 11. Tony, he's sitting there right behind him. So these guys are building up their momentum. And the Rumble Racing guys, they're keeping it right there with them as well. And they got a couple of teammates below them. So we got some strategies going on here. And we'll have to look through the field too as well. I want to see kind of how everyone else is playing out their strategies. But up in the front, these guys are getting racy early.
Yeah, going on the backstretch, I noticed the 42, Kyle Milliken, all over the back bumper of a Sean there. Able to get launching with some great speed, but then, he had to back up as his radiator looks like it was a little too full of bumper, and the engine started feeling the heat. He had to back up, and of course, when you lose that contact, you lose a lot of speed, and it drops him back just into the top 5 area, that being the 55 rather. So they gotta get a few more cars up on the top side of the track before they can make that run to try to creep in the top 3.
Yeah, and kind of looking back at Josh May, he's just now, Jeremy, coming across the start-finish line. So that little move in the beginning there might have hurt him early. Hopefully we don't have anything, but these leaders, they're in 3 and 4 right now. So that just shows you how much they've gained just in 7 laps when he's out here running by himself and he had this big pack of cars. So don't want to go down early. Luckily it's Daytona, so it does take a while to get around, but it is a lonely feeling out there when you're by yourself and you have no drafting help. So Josh May starting this race inside the first 10 laps is not the start that he was looking forward to.
And to be quite honest, it is a boring task to run 80 laps around this track with no help. I know eventually at some point the pack will catch him and he will rejoin in, but the amount of laps, it can get quite tiring and boring at times. Just there's no effort really other than to stay awake to get around this track when you're single file all by yourself. But when you're just packs 2-3 wide, bumper to bumper, you're on that wheel, you're gripping it hard. And that's where a set of Martin Sports gloves would come in. I know I mentioned pre-race, but if you go to martinsports906.com, the #1 glove, especially in the super speedway realm, this is where your hands are probably the most sweatiest other than a road course. And what better product than Martin Sports gloves? Super nerd to check out, 25% off. But yeah, the outside has made their run. The 15 of Nicholas Moreau and his teammate Jonathan Vachon have found the speed on the top, and at the moment down the backstretch, we have a new race leader as they dip down to the inside, Kenny.
As soon as they got clear, they made their way down to the bottom. Brandon Elder was trying to hold that spot on the inside, but they just had too much power. He was able to pull his teammate up there, and this is exactly what they are looking for. Left the 42 Kyle Milliken up on the outside. So that's one team right there that's already working together, and they're going to see if they can do it. That outside's still moving, though, Jeremy. You got the 42 Kyle Milliken still leading the way. He's going to see if he can get right behind Vachon here, if he can clear him, but I can see that happening tonight. If you don't have any drafting help, you're going to see some of these guys going from the top right down to the bottom when they get an opening, and then until that high groove kind of gets going, that might be the move that we're going to see all night. But we'll see that top side start coming into play like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and this is a great time to study too. You want to know who's friends with who. There's a lot of 2-car teams, a couple 3 cars, and even with 4-car teams. I think there's one team with 6 drivers. They're not all 6 here tonight. But that being said, you want to know who your friends are. You want to know who you got to work with, 50, 60 laps from now, as they're only on lap number 10 of scheduled 80. So you want to know what car pushes better, what car can lead the pack better. It is open setup, so you have to figure that out. You don't know until you're in this situation. So a lot of time to learn that. You want to make your friends. You want to be on that radio. And if you're caution, you want to private message the other driver that may not be on your team and go, hey, let's do this. Let's work together, and we have a goal we want to set and can accomplish. Can you help us out? And we will definitely see some of that tonight as well.
Absolutely, it's playing a factor, and that's that big pack right there. That's the lead pack. Everyone else, basically from 14th on back to 24th, is single filed out right now, just riding the bottom lane, just kind of cruising along right now. We saw Brody Hanna. He swept his way to the back. He's actually sitting in that 24th spot right now. I think he's kind of probably trying to play that clean route right now, Jeremy. There's still a lot of time left. We're only 11 laps done on lap 12 right now of 80, so still a long ways to go, and he probably wants to stay in it to the very end and maximize his effort, because if it's anything like last night, you saw how that kind of played out yesterday at the race. So he's playing a strategy right now. He's got 23 points to make up, so he's got a long ways to go.
Yeah, the back half of the field obviously playing the safety game, saying, hey, you know what, we got 2 pit stops probably ahead of us. There's no real reason to run 2 and 3 wide when we know we can just make that ground up in the back half of the race, or just do a much better pit stop than everybody else. There's a little bit of wobbling here in 3 and 4. I'm seeing the 37, the 14, and the 31 kicks loose there on the high side of 4. Exits, hits the wall hard. He came down into someone's door panel. I'm not sure who that was. I know it was a white and black car. So 2 cars look like they're involved in that one. No caution, though, Kenny, surprisingly, for, being almost mid-pack.
Yeah, and that's... I've been kind of seeing that this week while I've been doing some racing myself, that they're not throwing cautions. iRacing is not throwing cautions for 1-2 car wrecks here as long as they get off the track, and that's what happened there. So surprised, but also not surprised from what I've been seeing. And as we see this pack go around the O2 right there of Josh May, only took about 13 laps to get around, but he is going to fall back to the back. But as you mentioned, they'll pick him up here in this pack, so that'll put him 1 lap down. He's going to be fighting his way back, and he was hoping for a caution right there, Jeremy, and saying, hey, I'm back in this thing, but it still goes around as we see the 15 of Nicholas Moreau still leading the way around here with his teammate Jonathan Vachon right behind him.
Yeah, I was going back and watching that replay. The number 4, Chad Lang, is slow off of turn number 3. He was the guy who made heavy impact with the 31's door panel. There's a broken right front tire disconnected from the axle. So he's kind of limping that thing. That car is shaking, you know, really bad here. So that car's struggle to handle, get that thing to pit road. Outside of that, the number 91 was the one directly behind the 31 there, Justin Dilts. I don't know how he didn't get involved in that one. Huge save, or a huge check up there, and nice heads up to avoid that kind of wreck. Only 2 cars after that. We mentioned the pre-race too, Kenny. Handling is an issue, even though the track is cool. There's not much, there's not heat, being in Daytona, especially in Florida. But
we got another wreck here too. We got a 50, a Martin Garreau actually coming off a 3 there, 3 and 4, Jeremy. He spun sideways off the corner, came across the 14 there, and both of them went siding down right there into the pit road, and still no caution after that 2-car incident.
And that is, again, another Rumble Racing car, correct? Right? So that's off of number 4, 2 cars on the same team, off of exit of 4 on the high side, getting loose. You can tell the setups are similar. So now the other Rumble Racing guys are better be like, well, you need to fix this thing, or else, there's a potential for this down the road in this race. And yeah, that heavy contact with a 14 to the inside wall. Martin Garreau in the 50 definitely got the better of the 2, even though he did spin out. That's huge though, and we're probably going to see more of that as the tire wear continues.
Oh, absolutely. And you mentioned, that's what that Rumble Racing is. 2 of them we see, so pretty close to being identical setups on that one, and that gives some of these guys here in the back that's just riding around. They're just picking people off one by one, not getting any damage. Brody's going to be the one that we're watching tonight. He's the one that's really out here battling for the championship, so you're going to keep an eye on him. He's moved up a couple spots. When that first incident happened, though, it kicked him back a little bit, and he kind of lost the draft, but now he's back with the 54 and the 10 as they have a 3-car tandem here trying to catch back up. But that's what he's going to have to do to stay clean tonight, is try and avoid some of these wrecks that might happen early and even late in the race here.
Yeah, this is a great spot for him. We've now seen 2 cars single-handedly just get loose, and right now in front of Brody, that 54 Alan Crowell gets loose right in front of Brody, able to save it. But handling is a huge issue apparently right now at these guys at Daytona. So it's great for him, I think, right now to be in the back, kind of with a couple cars in front of you, to kind of keep your speed up, so you're not losing a lot of ground. But yeah, Brody really needs to be cautious of where he's at on the track the entire race to make it to the end.
Yeah, he's every time he sees someone get loose or spin in front of him, he's just like, all right, here we go. Let's try and save it. But as far as heading back up to the front here, Jeremy, these 4 are still up in the top 4, have not changed position. They're still running single file, and there's a little battle that's back behind these guys. You got the 33 of Sherwood Wilford trying to run this top side here with the 42 Kyle Milken right behind him. They're trying to gain a little bit of momentum. There's only 3 cars up there right now with the bottom lane rolling about 10 deep, so not much that they can do up there on that high side, but he's trying to get a little side draft to make his way up there and do as much as he can. The 42 going to give him a nice little shove here as they're heading into turn 3 and 4. Going to give him a little bit of movement. We'll see if he keeps on the high side or he ducks down in that spot that's opened up on the bottom.
The power of black and orange combination, trying to lead the top side with 3 cars. So you see another car, looks like the 37 Brian Dublé, getting loose off of 4 once again. So clearly that's going to be the troublesome corner to keep your eye on. These guys just, for some reason, they're running a lot of these cars on the edge. The track's not hot, so it's just merely just the setup and how the cars are performing here on the virtual Daytona. We're going to see that all night long. So it's going to keep us on our toes, going to make sure we try to cover turn 4 as best we can, try to catch all the action that goes to that corner specifically. Yeah, but right now, looks like the 27 of Rumble Racing backs off the high side, so it's just a 2-car on the top, everybody else on the bottom.
Follow back up on the 37 there, Brian Dublé. He was able to collect it, but he lost the draft there, and now he's out by himself, and then right behind him, he's got about 6 cars, single file in a draft. That's bump drafting each other down the track. And as we see the 67 here, his teammate, as they come off of turn 4, Jeremy, he's going to go down on the inside, get a little loose, and that's going to slow up this group. So that turn 4 exit there is just eating up people in practice and still here in the race as these laps start ticking along. It's 19 laps down, and they're just not enjoying this. But what I was getting at is that 37, just a little mistake like that, he lost some spots, and he's in the possibility of moving 6 more once this pack goes around him. So definitely not something that you want to do coming off of 4 if you can't keep that momentum with the pack.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct there. And that 67, James Wallace,
14 to the
excellent
wall.
save.
3 and 4. 14 down the apron now. No caution still right in front of these guys, but he was able to save it, Jeremy. Man, these tires are not handling well for these drivers right now.
The 14 was on the apron all the way down the back straight, too. I think he was letting some people by. He gets to the apron, and I think this case, he just hit the banking transition on the apron, kicked his car sideways. So that was a little bit of looseness, a little bit of that jump and transition. These cars, these next gens, are rock solid on the suspension, and when you do that, there's no give, there's no leeway. So when you hit these transitions on the track, they are harder than ever. Upsets the car like no other, cause him to spin out like that.
Hard hit though. That was a hard, 90-degree impact on that outside wall. So that might be the end of the night for the 14 there. That was a really hard hit. Yeah, he just had there.
Yeah, I would be adjusting some type of track bar adjustment or something. I know these cars don't have a kind of setup per se, but they need to adjust something to get these cars tightened up, because when you're seeing all these cars loose around you, you don't want to be that guy to get loose. Even if you try to avoid a wreck, if your car is either teetering between loose and feeling good, if you have to make any quick movements on the steering wheel to avoid a wreck, that could cause you to spin out as well. So there's several factors. I would imagine this first pit stop, there will be at least an adjustment or two done to every single one of these cars to maximize their efforts and try to get themselves all 80 laps complete.
Still see a battle up here, trying to get their way up there. The 3 on the outside, the 33, 42, and the 27, all still up on the outside, slowly moving their way up in here. They got the 24, Stephen Llewellyn, on his inside right now, trying to get a little bit of side draft if he can. So he's still not giving up. I think if we get another car, even 2 up there on that outside, Jeremy, that could be just enough what they need to go up here and contend with the 50 and the 55 group.
Quick mention too, Alex Murphy and Chad Lang, both of those guys got involved in that first wreck. Alex Murphy is done for the night. Chad disconnected, then came back in. We don't know if he's going to continue or not, but right now at least one car for sure out of this race entirely. And there's only 3 cars that are currently 1 lap down or more. Everybody else is still on the lead lap. But these guys heading off into turn number 3. They're going around. Martin Garreau is going to put the 6th car at least 1 lap down here. They're 3 wide off the exit of 4, which we know that's so troublesome, and it makes things a little trickier.
Yeah, it's definitely a spot. You can still see he's fighting it through the tri-oval there, even at the start-finish line. So definitely not a spot that you want to go 3 wide with the way that these tires are handled. As we see the 42 and the 33, give them a little bit of push there as they're heading in turn 1 and 2, and they pushed up to the track and got inches off that wall. Not sure if the grip might have gave out there as they were going, but he's going to have a heck of a push here. The 42 right to Sherwood's back bumper. Going to just push him all the way down the back stretch as we see him going by the 17, 24, making his way up to the 51. What a great push there that they gave. Kyle Milliken gave to Sherwood as they're in 3 and 4 trying to get side by side with the 51 and get up there with those 2 leaders.
42 almost looked like he was desperate. Oh, when he gets loose right there, right behind the 33, almost door checks the 51 and 24, able to save it. Nice save for the 42, Kyle Milliken. But I was saying in turn 1, he got right to that back bumper, and you said he did make contact. It's almost like a desperate move to say, hey, we need to get this little pack to the front the best we can. And he tried maximizing that speed down to the entrance of turn number 1. He almost caused a wreck. These bumpers are not aligned. They're curved on the front and the back side, so you have to hit them square on a flat surface. If you try to do it anywhere else, you might be in some trouble. But with the handling on these cars as well, you want to be really careful with that.
What they learned right there too was if they can get that timing just right and just push them down the backstretch, that could be a move that they might need to pull off of this.
Martin Garreau heavy into the wall there, exited turn number 4. The car that just went a lap down a couple laps prior. He was able to re-get the draft, comes off of turn number 4, and Rumble Racing once again feeling the loose 50 twice now off of turn number 4. I think this time it's going to have a lot of repairs to that 50 car as he comes down pit road next time.
Retro's turn 4 there is just getting everyone tonight as they're coming off of it, and turn 2 I don't notice it as much as it is up 4, and we know how tight it can get off of 4 there, so it's already one that you are going to have some battles with during the race without having this fighting of the tires and everything as well. So That's going to be one, Jeremy. If we get 3 wide coming off of 4, it's going to be really close and tight here. But what I was kind of getting to before is we saw what the 42 and the 33 push gave them in that power. So that might be a last lap move or second to last lap, depending on when these guys want to make a run to where they know how they get a push and where they get that run, they get that push. So great to kind of get that hooked up earlier in this race so they know when they can do it when it starts getting towards the end of the race.
And you're absolutely correct, and I'm side with you. I know I brought up the strategy part of who to tango, who to not, who to, connect with down the road, 15 laps to go or whatnot. But also, it's another great point you said. You got to figure out where you cannot push. You probably should have figured that in practice. But when it comes to the race, maybe you want to try something new. You're like, well, this inside is just too strong. There's not many people wanting to go up to the top. So what do? You kind of try to figure things out on the fly. And right now, the 42 is definitely showing the 33, hey, I am the guy. I can push you. I just got to put some trust in me and get a couple more cars behind us, and I can get you there.
Yeah, and that's what they need. They need a couple more cars on that outside. I mean, you've had the same 3 cars that's been sitting on this outside, I think, pretty much the whole entire race, and they're trying to make it work, and they're just not getting enough. They see the bottom side is where the momentum is, where the power is, and the speed. So that's where everyone's kind of staying right now. But it's still early. No one's really going too crazy right now, and especially since we saw how it is coming off of 4. But here is another great run by the 42, Kyle Milliken, pushing Sherwood there, going in the 3 and 4. I mean, you saw what it did. It gained him 3 car lengths, maybe 4 car lengths there, coming up on another great run on the 24. So they're still making that push. I think they just need a couple more cars to jump up there. And Josh May is trying. He's trying to get up there on that 02. He's just doesn't have that speed to catch these guys in the 27, so he's sitting back on that low side right now.
The 33 finally moves down to the bottom. That leaves the 42 leading the charge with only 2 cars on the top, and right now they are not even connected. So we're going to see them drop down pretty significantly as we come up to lap 30 next time by. Not sure when that pit window opens for these guys, but we're seeing, the 42 tried squeezing the 47 down. They might be getting desperate as pit road might be starting to happen here soon. The 42 tried squeezing, did not make it happen. Now he's got all the room in the world. That could have been a disaster for the 42 and 47. Thankfully, nothing happened. But as they come into lap number 30, no one's coming down this time, so at least it's going to be a few more laps.
Yeah, that was a close call, and I heard Kyle come on the radio and apologize for that. Didn't mean to get into the contact there. But yeah, that could have been a bad call, disastrous little move right there. But no harm, no foul. They keep it rolling. But yes, pit stops are going to start rolling in here soon, and we're going to see what these guys' strategies are and see if we have anyone come down a little early. We mentioned earlier the Fury Motorsports guys like to come down a little early, but with Brody kind of sitting in the back after a couple of these accidents, they're not hooked up together. So some of these guys are going to be coming down with other teams and see fast cars. I mean, we know which cars have been fast tonight, so those top 3, top 4, we know they got the speed, so we could see some guys coming down with them. And we do have some to mention that aren't on a team out here, Jeremy, so they're out here riding solo, so they're going to be looking for those other solo drivers as well.
Yeah, if you got a guy that's, now lost a teammate or 2, and if you're by yourself, you need to find some friends, and you better start communicating and figure that out, especially for pit road. We're coming just a few laps away to see these cars down pit road. They might go 40 laps. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know the strategy yet. But right now, they're all single files. So that tells me they're kind of being content of where they're running. Maybe they're just, waiting a few more laps until the fuel strikes 0 or 1 where they have to come down to pit road. But right now, it's handling I haven't seen so much of from anybody else at this point. Everyone's just single filed out now, so there's not so much turbulence around the cars, which kind of keeps the car from being a little upset as well.
Just trying to go back through. I see the 91 here, Jeremy, off of 4 as well, down on the inside of pit road. It comes down in this pit stall there, so I'm not sure what happened on that. When I looked through and his camera cut out on me, and then when it came back, he was down the bottom there, so maybe you'll have a replay that I'm not getting a look at, so we'll see what happened with the 91, but that's going to put him on pit road and making some early pit stops. Not sure if he's got any damage, so see if you can update me on that one. But as we still look, we still have these guys going around. 15, Nicholas Moreau still leading the way, Jeremy. He's been leading since, I believe, lap 1. He's got the car of the night, him and his teammate there, right behind him with 55, so those 2 are the ones to beat. So we'll have to see if these guys come down together and how many come down with them.
Yeah, I'm going back and looking at Justin Delth at 91. You mentioned off of turn number 4 once again, of course, right? It almost looked like the front of the car got loose, which I've seen this more so than not from the next gen cars. He gets to turn number 4 midway just fine, and then out the exit, the front of the car just yanks left, spins him out. He noses the outside wall and then comes down pit road. So early pit stop, has to repair some damage to the nose of that 91 to kind of maintain speed. But that was a self spin off of 4. I think that's the 5th time we've seen a car get out of shape.
It's crazy to see how many cars we have going around here off of 4, and it doesn't matter. I mean, we saw it lap 15 all the way up. Now we're on lap 33, and we saw him in between there. So it doesn't matter if it's kind of earlier or later in the run. That turn 4 is just the exit's giving trouble for all these guys, and we see the 0-2 here of Josh Mayu. He's actually dropping back through the pack as well. So I'm not sure if he's got a little damage or just kind of falling back through these guys. Maybe he lost the draft. Yeah, it looks like he's closing back in. So he must have lost the draft there with that pack, and that's could have put him back in the back of this pack. And not what your pole sitter was looking forward to tonight, Jeremy. I don't think that he planned on, when he went below the yellow, to be a lap down. Second one on a lap down. He needs to get back in front of that 18. So not the night Josh Mayu was looking for.
No, the 0-2 Mayu, he that was his virtue of the lap 1 thing, where he couldn't get back up onto the track and lost the draft initially. It took 33 laps for him to cycle back to a pack of cars. The big pack caught him, and then he just kind of used the draft to cling on to the backside of it. So now he's just kind of holding on, one lap down currently. The 0-2 is. If he can catch a caution, he's got 1 car to pass. Brian Bliss and Josh Mayu both only 1 lap down. Brian Bliss is 2 cars ahead of the 0-2. So, these guys are battling for their own little position here. If were to be a caution, you want to have that lucky dog available to you.
So, Jeremy, it sounds like we got about 2 laps left on fuel between some of these guys. 5 on some others, so we're going to be seeing some pit stops here come in the next lap or 2 for some of these guys, and we'll see if they stretch it out. And we've got a couple of people that have broken away from the pack, 3-pack cars that's going to be coming down together because they need to get close back up. They're not going to separate. And then we have the top cars of looks like top 11 cars, Jeremy. They're all single file right now on that inside because they're coming down soon. So everyone needs to come down, not speed, and this is the part of where you want to be really precise because all it takes is 1 speeding penalty and your race is over with.
And that's huge too. We're just 5 laps away from the halfway point. If these guys only have 2 laps left, that means there is definitely going to be a second pit stop, whether it's on a caution or a green. These guys will not be able to make it on 1 stop with 2 laps left in the tank. So as they come across now for lap 37, at least to start lap 37, keep our eye out on who's going to come down first, who's not. Right now, the main lead pack does not decide to come down pit road this time. The second pack crosses the start-finish line here in just a moment, and no takers so far as we enter lap 37.
Yeah, no one on that one, but I think I hear the 10 looks like Ryan Chapman's going to be coming down, so I would anticipate Brody Hanna and Alan Carell, the 3 in that car pack there. I think they're going to be coming down next time by, so expect them to come down, and I think we're going to have some others as well because they were on that 2 laps left, and a couple of them had the 5, but I should expect this lap, maybe next, we're going to see a lot of more coming down.
Quick shout out in the chats too before these pit stops underway. Richie from Universal Studios saying, I'm watching the race to see if I win the championship while on his little vacation trip. So he's tuned in, wanting to see exactly what happens in this race. It's kind of a tough task to be Universal with service to your phone. I know every time I go, my AT&T service just does not work at all. So I'm surprised he's able to watch anything. But with that being said, he is rooting on himself that's not in the field to make sure he still gets that championship.
Yeah, we got on down pit road right now. 10 Ryan Chapman, 23 Brody Hanna, and the 54 there of Alan Carell. All 3 of those made it down. See if they come down and don't speed on pit road. I don't see. It looks like they came down nice and smooth. So those 3 guys coming down together, and they're going to hopefully come off just in time because that's what they're going to need to keep up with this pack with those 3.
Yep, Brody and then the 2 Toyotas. Not used to seeing multiple Toyotas in the field, but right now we got a little bit with the 10 and the 54. But yeah, clean stop by all 3 of those drivers. They are underway out of pit road. Just got to wait for everybody else to come down. It looks like the 15, Nicholas Moreau came down pit road. Sean, a couple other guys So it is official. Green flag stops underway.
Picked up, looks like the 91 too, Jeremy, of Justin Dilt. So that's going to give the Brody Hanna crew 4 cars. They make their way up through the field. So I think when he came down, he's in 18th spot. So he's made up a little bit of ground. Still watching about halfway through. So Brody wants this championship. He's going to have to kind of get back up with this pack. And Richie, I know you're looking on and things are looking good for you right now, but it is Daytona. So we still got halfway of this race to go.
And it looks like there's a little bit of an incident there. We'll have to take a look and see exactly what happened there. Also want to mention the 91, Justin Dilt.
44, he missed pit road. He's in the grass spinning on pit road, was able to collect it, but he actually came in and went outside of the pit lane, so that's going to be lost time on him as well.
So much action to go around the track. It's hard to keep up exactly what's going on, but yeah, that 44 did hit the grass after the cone as well. Good save on his part, but that might tag him for an unsafe pit entrance. We'll find out that soon. But I was saying the 91 had got held for speeding, 40 seconds on him, so he joined the group of Brody Hanna. It's going to give them a 4-car pack. And I think the 55, you see him, they saw him on the replay momentarily ago. Vachon getting loose in pit entrance as well. That's going to break up Moreau Motorsports here with the powerhouse that they've brought to Daytona. So that could bring a little bit of a tricky situation for that team.
Yeah, that's definitely not what you want to see when they were so dominant on this one as well. And yeah, that's going to be a hard blow for them. They're going to need some help on that one. So that's just time sitting on pit road right now. But once this cycles through, Jeremy, we're going to see a little shift. And, you know, the 15 there, Nicholas Moreau is going to lose his teammate, which that was a little bit of a cushion that he had there. And I think he's kind of run out there all by himself right now as well. So he's losing time just out there basically running out by himself, which is got 2 cars behind him packed. That'll catch him. That'll help him as long as he can tuck in behind him. But he's losing valuable time right now by himself.
Yeah, in the last lap, the 33, 51, 17, 24, 11, and 27 all came down pit road. That was a 6-car stop. And then we saw just a couple more cars come down afterwards. So we're almost completely wrapped up with these pit stops. The number 26, Matthew Vachon, by himself coming down pit road. The last guy in the Moreau Motorsports camp to make that pit stop. But everybody else, the 7, 47, a couple other guys making their stop right now. The 14 as well, and the 50, Martin Guerrero still with tire issues, getting that repaired. Not sure if he's going to be able to get back on track. But as these things start to cycle out, we're seeing a lot more gaps there through the field. Just how tricky getting down pit road with a loose race car really is here at Daytona.
Yeah, you mentioned that pack of drivers that all came down the 6-pack. Well, the 33 Sherwood had a great pit stop, was able to get out in front of these guys and had a big lead on them, but that's going to come back probably to bite him in the butt there, because now here comes this pack that's going to go around him with a head full of steam, so he's going to have to try and tuck back in line and not lose the draft on these guys. So great pit stop, but not the place that you want to have everyone else be on sync with their pit stops. So you're going to see right there, you're going to have 7, 8 cars go around him, and he's going to try and tuck in and get that draft off of these guys. But still keeping that big pack. That's where all the speed's going to be right now. So as long as he can tuck up behind him, they're also going to pick up the 7 and the 47 in this pack as well.
It's so tough, man. You hit your marks perfectly. You have the best stop that you can possibly have, and you get penalized for it because you're not part of the draft. And that's exactly what the 33 is dealing with. I think he's at a close enough distance. He's tucking in right now to the 44 to maintain in his pack. He just, goes from 1st to 8th or 9th. That's the risk there. The 24, Stephen Llewellyn, ducks quickly underneath the 27 of Jonathan Varnoskis as they enter on the backstretch, lap number 43. And since pit cycles have completed, I think, Kenny, this is a great time to go picture-in-picture to give a visual thank you to all of our sponsors for one last time in 2022 Season B. So we'll be right back with you guys after a few brief messages.
Are you ready to chase the moonlight? Community-based and talent-driven, Moonlight Speed Concepts has what you need to take your iRacing experience to the next level. Founded by passionate owners that care about the community and housing some of the top setup builders and drivers on the platform, Moonlight Speed Concepts offers custom paints, driver coaching, and setups for dirt, asphalt short track racing, and eNASCAR competition. Partnered with top brands in both real world and simulation. Follow us on Facebook or visit moonlightspeed.com and find out why these businesses chase the moonlight and why you should too. Moonlight Speed Concept, where all we chase is moonlight.
And welcome back to a race feed. Back to you. We had a little bit of an issue with that racing feed on the layout system, and it gave you a nice black screen, so you didn't catch anything on that part of it. But at the same time, you didn't really miss too much on the track. It has been corrected though from this point forward. So it's still a pretty good race here in the main pack. The 24, 27, 42 leading the top side, which we found these guys there for the most part. But now Tony Solari is going to lead the charge on the bottom with 6 cars, with the 51 directly behind him, the 7 behind him. Outside of that, it's a little bit of a saving fuel strategy potentially happening with that 23 Brody Hannah. They came down before lap 40, so that means there's probably going to be, or most likely going to be, a second green flag stop. But if these guys mid-pack are going to play that fuel mileage, maybe, just maybe, that might work. It's going to be really close here.
Yeah, it sounded like the 10 of Ryan Chapman and Brody Hannah there. They let those lap cars go around them, and they're just going to let them pull them around the track there and try and save a little bit of fuel, because I think the 10 being out front that run, he was 2 laps left on fuel when Brody had about 5. So I think that's going to be their strategy, is let those lap cars kind of pull them around and save as much as they can. They're running in the 13th and 14th spot, the 10 and the 23. So there's about a 3-car group of those guys, and then in front of them you got Nicholas Moreau, Joshua Johnson, and James Wallace, those 2 teammates. That's another little pack. And then other than that, you're going to have everyone inside the top 10 from 1st to 9th. That's going to be together in our main pack. So got a couple little packs out here, Jeremy, that's racing for every little position matters, and Brody's just trying to get as much as he can right now, because I mean these laps are ticking down. We got about 32 laps to go, and he's got some time to dig to make up some ground on Richie.
Yeah, not to discredit anybody else on the track, but the story is the championship and how Richie and Chuck are not here. Brody Hannah is the only driver on track in contention to win this championship, and he has to be within the top 4 at most, and actually top 3, because he definitely cannot lead the most laps at this point, leading 0 out of 51 of scheduled 80. So Brody needs to be first or second, and right now, him not being the main pack, the only thing he can do at this point is to do exactly what he's doing, is to run about 75% throttle the entire lap around this place. Let the draft carry you. He's got someone pushing. He's got someone pulling. He just kind of keeps that throttle nice and steady at 70, 75%. That might give him that advantage enough to make it only 1 pit stop and potentially propel him inside the top 5.
A little bit of strategy here, the season finale, and especially being at Daytona, changes everything. As we see the 24 there, Stephen Llewellyn jumps to the outside. He's going to let this inside line go below him. That's going to put a new leader here. The 27, Jonathan Varnoskis, is going to be your new race leader with Tony Solari right behind him in that second spot. And then, of course, Brandon Elder keeping up the top 3. But, yeah, we saw Stephen Wow there coming off of 4. I'm not sure if he had a little issue or not, but you saw him kick up to the high side, and that allowed everyone to go below him. And now you got the 24 and the 42 on the outside trying to get their way back up to the front.
The Stig on YouTube shouting out his teammates, go Boomerang Motorsports. So you got a little cheerleader out there for them as they're on the last third of this race here, being just inside 30 laps to go. We have Varnoskis in that Rumble Racing machine, that 27, brought a missile to this track. He's been up front the entire event. Doesn't matter if you find him on the low side, the high side. His teammates have had handling issues, but this 27 is locked in, been solid all race long, and has been leading packs on either side of the track. So he has the strong potential right now to close this thing out on top.
Yeah, you've been seeing him with that 3-car pack on the outside pretty much most of the race, just trying to make their way. And as soon as he moves away to the bottom side, look at him up at him for the lead. So he might have found where he needs to be with his car, and he could just be on that low side or going to have the right group. But you still see the 42, Jeremy. Kyle Milken's still running that outside. He was able to push the 24, Stephen Llewellyn, back out to the front, and I think they're going to keep it up there. I don't think they're going to, well, as I say that, there goes Stephen Llewellyn to the bottom side, and that's going to be the 42. 42, Jeremy, Kyle Milken's been stuck out to dry a couple times this evening, so I don't think he's going to worry about that, though. He's going to try and lead this high side by himself.
It's so, it's got to be frustrating for that 42. I know there's still plenty of laps left to kind of figure out what line to be in at this point with 28 to go, but the 42 has been such an excellent pusher. The 33, who's 2 cars back of the 42, he pushed him that first half of the race and did an excellent job doing so. Even, making pushes happen in spots where you shouldn't really be pushing. And then, then he lets go. And then now they have the 24, who 3 cars was beating 5 or 6 cars on the bottom. And then 24 said, I'm going to change my lane. And then now the 42 is leading the pack. And then the 47 goes down to try to lead a lap here. And it looks like the 42 is going to be able to lead this lap. But that car is so strong as well, able to bring just a couple cars ahead of a group of 5 or 6. So that 42 might want to be your best friend here when this race is over.
Yeah, he's shown the speed. I mean, even the 33 right behind him, Sherwood, he's been, the 42 and the 33 work on that high side. They were just in reverse order laps ago, and then Sherwood ducked to the inside. But I think those two are going to be, there's a couple strong cars out here. The 51 Brandon Elder, we see him jump to the high side right behind Steve Loomis. That's the first time I think we've seen him up on the high side tonight. He's been riding that low side most of the night, running that top 3. He's going to put his hand up on that top side, but this pack, we've seen a lot of these drivers, even the 7 there, Wayne Grossi, we haven't heard much of him tonight, but he's been riding quietly inside the top 10 all night. He's got a fast car, so I think we're seeing, other than a couple of mistakes we saw on pit road there with those two, with the 15 and the 55, the majority of these cars have been running the top 10 most of the night.
Yeah, Tony Solari is one of those drivers who really likes the super speedway events. He just has a niche for it, and a little bit of wobble from the 42 going back up to the front there on the entrance of turn number 1. Don't see that often compared to turn 4 anyways, but able to save it, keep it going. That 33 now has to repay that favor to the 42, as now they have reversed their position from the first half of the race. Let's see how that 33 can push the 42. Maybe it's an equal, or maybe they find something even better.
Yeah, that's what they're going to be doing. I'm looking back through. I was going to keep an update on Brody Hanna, see how he's doing. The 91, Justin Diltz, he's actually going to drop out of the lead in that pack. That's going to put the 54 there of Alan Correll. He's going to be leading this pack as the 10 and the 23 are still riding behind him, trying to save some fuel, manage as much as they can. As I say, it looks like the 10 just kind of ducked out a little bit, cool off the engine a little bit, bring back down the temps. He's going to tuck back in line, but I would imagine those guys are just going to keep riding behind, especially with these lap cars in front of them. Just stay behind them, save as much fuel as you can, because really they're going to look for a caution to kind of catch back up if this thing goes green, Jeremy. I'm not sure what else they can do to catch up to these guys other than having a yellow come out.
No, they're directly a half a track behind the leaders, and they're outnumbered essentially. Even if they got nose to tail and really ran it tough, I don't think they can make much of a difference. Maybe a small gain, but it's definitely not enough to go around the track a half a time faster and get there, just 24, 23 laps left in this thing. So they have to wait patiently. They're praying for a caution. they're hoping they can stretch their field mileage if there's not a caution. So right now, running single file, this is the best case scenario for these guys to make it to the end.
And I know you're saying maybe that 33 was going to pay back the 42, but as soon as the 33 saw his opportunity to get to the front, he made his move. Jeremy, he's going to be your new leader as they're going around now. You're going to have the 33 leading the way, Sherwood Wolford with the 42. Ryan Hedrick's still right there behind him. So Sherwood's showing that he's got a strong car tonight, Jeremy, in that 33. He's been out front, high side or low side, so he's one to keep an eye on as well. And the 24, Stephen Llewellyn, he, as you see the 47 jump up to the outside. Not going to get any help here, though, Jeremy, so he's going to have to try and make this pass all by himself. It's not going to happen. That's going to drop him back. Hopefully the 42, Kyle Milliken's going to pick him up and kind of save him a little bit here. As you see, yep, 42 is going to go right up to him, try and get it right on the back bumper. But you saw right there, Ryan Hedrick knows, okay, I don't know if the 24 is going to go with me if I try to jump up to the high side. So just kind of keep that in your back pocket when these laps start ticking down.
Everybody else drops to the bottom except for the 42 and the 47. That 42 doesn't even look like he wants to go to the bottom. He wants his top side to work as best as it can. And he's got a pretty good car to make that happen. Right now, 2 versus 7. And they're actually holding the pace about 5 cars back, 4 cars back even, on this high side without even getting next to that door for optimized side draft. They're still maintaining speed. So there might be something if they can get 5 or 6 cars on the top. I've seen races with this next-gen car, Kenny, to where if you're at least equal on top and bottom, the top wins almost every single time. We just need someone to take the effort to move up there. But turn 4 has been loose on the top. So that's that risk versus reward.
Absolutely, and that's what they're trying to do. These guys on 42, Kyle Milliken, he's trying to get those guys to say, we need more people up here, we need more people. And you know, they could be seeing as well that pack behind them. You got Joshua Johnson, James Wallace, and Nicholas Moreau. They were 8 seconds back from this main pack about 10 laps ago, Jeremy. They've cut that in half. They're 4 seconds down. These 3 have kind of just grouped together while these guys are racing side by side and tried to make up as much time as they can. It's actually 4 of them. I apologize. You're going to have a lap car in there, the 44 of Chris Beck as well. So the 4 of those cars just been really close to each other, Jeremy, and they're gaining ground is being led by the 57 there, Joshua Johnson.
Yeah, lap time is just a 10th here, a 10th there, and they are making some things happen as the front pack starts or is single filed more so. I think we're going to see a slight advantage to the lead pack, but if when you start to see 3 or 4 cars go to that top side, that's when the turbulence takes an effect. That's when the main pack starts to slow down, and that's what favors that 4-car pack there. With Nicholas and James and whatnot. So right now I think they're pretty optimized between one another, but they definitely want to get gridlocked bumper to bumper and try to make any ground happen with 19 to go.
Yeah, they want to get bumper to bumper, and like you mentioned, see a couple more of those guys jump up to the high side and kind of get the front pack racing and bring the score up there. So we know the 15's got the speed. He's had speed since the start of the race and just had that little mishap on pit road with him and his teammate. So if they get up there, that's one to look out for. With the 57 and the 67, those 2 teammates are coming up through the field. So if they can catch up to this pack, Jeremy, that could be what they need. But they need to get in single file and just keep it down and keep it straight and try and get as much speed and momentum as they can. But 42 and 47, Jeremy, they're not giving up on the high side. Ryan Hedrick and Kyle Milliken, they're still trying to make that high side work, even with having 7, 8 cars here on the bottom, 7 cars on the bottom side. Those 2 are still battling out right in the middle of that pack.
Yeah, the 47s just can barely get to 6th place, able to hold that momentum on the top of the pack of 7 cars with only 2 on the top. You know, that's an advertisement. If I'm on the bottom of the track and I see only 2 cars on the top and they're holding the same exact speed, I think I want to be in that lane to shift myself a little bit forward. If I'm like the 17 or the 51, where, you know, you're sitting 7th, 8th, 9th right now, you can definitely make a pass or 2 happen doing that. But the 47, Kenny, almost looked like he wanted to go to the inside lane there for a moment. It checked up their little momentum they had, and they shift back a spot or 2. But now they've regrouped, and let's see if they can get back to where they were.
Yeah, they need just a couple more cars to get up there, and we saw Brandon Elder jump up to that high side, and he just wasn't feeling it up there. He's probably a little bit more comfortable on the bottom side where he's been running all night. He's wanting to get back up to the front, but that could be a chance where he just needs to get up to that high side, maybe get a little bit more speed, because he definitely has the car to do it up there and help those guys move up to the front. So we see him kind of looking there. I'm not sure if he's looking to the outside or just, yeah, nope, he's going to check back to the inside. But you get a couple cars like that, Jeremy, that's got the speed, and those guys make it to the front. But the 47 and the 42 right now, actually, they're losing some ground that inside once they single filed and got close to each other and nose to tail.
What I've noticed too is like the 27 of Varnoskis is not really sucked up to the 24's back bumper, so it's kind of optimizing a little bit to that outside's advantage. But off of turn number 4, they did close back up, and that's where the speed's going to be the most efficient for this inside lane. Going back to that 3 or 4 car pack, 5 seconds back, those guys are they're stalemated still. They're just right around the 5-second mark away from this lead pack. So at the moment, I don't think they're going to be able to get grouped up enough to get to the main pack. So as long as nothing happens, I think these 9 cars right now are going to be the show.
I think so. I don't think we're going to have a caution either. I mean, we could have, we could have a caution. Not saying that we won't have a caution, but that's what's going to take those guys together is having a caution to bring them back up to the front there. But without that, yeah, I think it's going to be the race between these 9 cars, and it's going to get dicey. And like you mentioned, we're going to have possibly a second round of pit stops because we had some of these guys spread out as far as when they came down close to halfway mark. So depending on who's running out front and how much gas they're using, we see the 33 Sherwood's been out there probably for the last 10 laps or so running around here. So we know he's burning more fuel up than any of these other guys. And we saw what he did. He had a great pit stop and was able to get on and off faster than anyone else. So it's just going to kind of throw in strategy here at play. What we still got the 42, Kyle Milken, Jeremy, still on the outside trying to do it all by himself.
Yeah, I make that mention where I think it's going to be these 9 cars, and I say that because as much as I have hopes that the pack that Brody's in can make it on one stop only, to ask for 7 or 8 laps more than previously what your car could handle, that's a huge stretch. And so they might be able to get close to the number. I just don't see that strategy happening. That's a lot of extra fuel for something that's really not in your control. And Brody's been in the pack all race long. It's not like he's been leading a field. So I think his fuel's, it's going to be close, but ultimately I think these 9 cars are going to be what's going to be up front here as this race closes out.
Yeah, I was listening in on the 10 radio, and it sounds like they're, even with saving a little bit, they're still 2 laps short. And I mean, that's a long 2 laps around here. So I don't know if they're going to be able to save all that up. So yeah, it's going to look like it's going to come down to this, but we're going to have to look at some pit stops too. We're going to have to make sure that these guys get on and off without having any incidents. But yeah, word out of the 10 camp is they're 2 laps shy, Jeremy, of making it all the way.
And it's so close, but so far away, especially if you're the 23 there. You're like, I'm 2 laps away from a championship contention if I can just not have to pit. Maybe he can get the 26 to his back bumper and push him, and so Brody can lift 100% momentarily. I don't know if you can squeeze 2 more laps out of this thing given their current situation. 2 laps shy, Kenny, of potentially having a shot. He's hoping for a miracle at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you're coming down to it, and if you're sitting under 5 laps to go and you're down to 3 laps to go and you're like, oh, that's going to be hit or miss, you might as well ride it out from the position you're in and ride or die and try to make it up and go for the championship.
Speaking of the 26, he just drove up into turn number 1. It looked like the car didn't have any grip, or the car just didn't turn, period. Shot up to the outside wall and scraped it a little bit. Looks like he's able to keep the draft and be just fine, but he lost some momentum temporarily. Doesn't help 23's part because he needs a pusher, and the 18 now is behind him. He's closing in on that. So, but 23 needs that pusher to maximize that fuel in that car. But said before, I think it's just a little too late as long as everyone has a solid last green flag pit stop. But this is the most important stop for a lot of these guys to try to get that W.
Yeah, it looks like, like you mentioned, that's going to have to look back up to the front of the field here with these 9 cars. You still got the 42 Kyle Milken still on the outside, Jeremy. He's making his way up. I mean, ever so slowly. He's already picked off 2 cars. He's about to pick off a 3rd, and slowly trying that outside. You see Sherwood. He actually jumped up to that outside, Jeremy, and I'm not sure if it's if he had an issue off of 4, if he's maybe trying to pick up the 42 and get some momentum built. We see the 17 looking on the outside, but he's going to stay. Oh, we see the 42 actually go on the inside of the 33 there, Jeremy. So he's making his way up through here with on the outside all by himself. That car has got some power underneath it right now.
He slingshotted from the 33's draft when he moved up, and it just looked like the 33 came off of turn number 4, didn't get loose, and he shifted high. Maybe he was trying to start on Army on the top side. But then the 42 was like, I've seen what you did to me before. So I'm just going to pass you, use it to my advantage. And now, yeah, that 42, top 3 right now. Impressive stuff considering now there's 2 cars on the top.
If I'm in that pack and I see that, I'm jumping up there with the 42. He's got the car. I'm going to try and either get in front of him and have him push me or have him pull away. See Brandon Elder jump up to the high side, Jeremy. He's trying to get up to the top side of this pack. He's going to go around the 47 to Ryan Hedrick, catch that draft kid, even with the 7 there, Wayne Grossi, and he's going to be at 3 cars on the top now. So if I'm seeing this pack build up with the 42 leading it, I think I might jump up there and join him because that's the power. But look right behind him too, Jeremy. That second pack, it's still moving its way up in here. They're just at 2 seconds behind these guys, and with them getting side by side like that, it's just going to reel them in. So that's going to be another 4 cars, 3 on the lead lap. That's going to join this group of 9. So we're going to go to 12. Top 12 are going to be all within each other within less than half a second.
I'm going to be standing corrected with that second pack. I said 15 laps ago that they were not going to be able to close in, and here they are. So just like my entire life, I'm wrong on this case here, Kenny. They have made a huge charge, able to join the main pack. So this is going to be a 12-car battle now, it looks like, as the pit stops are going to occur at any moment in time. We know they're short. Just at what point do you press the go button to make that final pit stop?
Yeah, and the one that's in there, I mean, he's not on the lead lap, but the 44 there, Chris Beck, he's wanting these guys to get up there because if a caution comes out, he's the first one that's going to get that lucky dog wave around. So he's hoping these guys push up there, and they appreciate it because they're getting back up there. And Nicholas Moreau, he's probably doing a little strategy himself. He was leading that pack, and now he's sitting behind him, so he's probably saving himself a little bit of fuel as well, and trying to join the group because we know he has, as we mentioned, he's got that car. He's got a fast car. He's leading a lot of this race before the pit stop, so he wants to get back up there and give it a shot. But these guys are still side by side, and we still got the 42, 33, and the 51 all on the outside. Kind of lost a little bit of that momentum, but they're still trying to gain it back as we see the 33 right on the bumper of the 42, trying to give him that push. Needs to get right up on the back. We saw the 42 doing it earlier, so now he's want the favor returned by the 33 of Sherwood Williford.
Just over 7 laps to go as these guys enter turn number 3. 42 still leading that charge. The 24 going to lane high there as the race leader. Not sure if he's thinking maybe top side or bottom, but he gave a little bit of a draft assist to that 42 doing that. And the 42 slingshots as they're nose to nose rather at the start finish line. The 24 edges the 42 up that lap. Stephen Llewellyn leads lap 73.
And we might not see him come down. I mean, they were able to make it halfway. The 24 Stephen Llewellyn was able to come down on lap 40, so the halfway mark. So those guys might have what they need to get it going now. He was out front a little bit this run, so we'll see where it plays a factor. But they could have done the one-stop strategy here, Jeremy, and they're going to run it on fumes all the way to the end. But 42 is showing that he had a strong car all night, and now there he is finally first in the lead there on the bottom side that we haven't seen him much all night. He's been up on the high side, I believe, pretty much the whole race. And as soon as he got an opportunity to go to the low side, he was able to take it. And he said, "I've been stuck up on the outside all this race, so I'm gonna leave someone else up there and take my turn on the bottom side."
Yeah, and the 33 was leading the charge there for a moment, but even with 3 cars, without the 42 up there, these guys are not.
33 in the wall. Turn 1. Jeremy got both of them. Caution! This is gonna tighten everything up. Oh, caution. 57, 44 into it. Oh, I think the 15 might have also got into it.
51 to 33. I don't know why they came together, but they certainly did. And then mayhem ensues as the 51 comes across the track. Yeah, 57, 44. The 15 with an excellent heads up there. Able to avoid the wreck from the 57, 51 as they came across the track right in front of them. Looks like a total of 4 cars injured on this thing, with just 5 laps to go now. These things are all buttoned up. Brody Hanna is thinking everything possible to give himself this one last shot at trying to get up to that front.
Wow, what a way to end the season here. We're going to have under 5 laps to go when this thing goes green to determine the championship. To see Brody Hanna get one last shot. Ever since basically lap 2 or 3 of this race, we had that incident off of 4. He was in the back of the pack. Now he's got a shot up here. It's go for broke on this one, Jeremy, and he's going to have to take it as hard as he can and try and get up there because there's a championship on the line. And Richie Coy sitting at Universal just watching this all unfold and see what the outcome's going to be.
Yeah, going back and watching this replay, I don't know why the 51. We saw, at least I did. I saw the 26 shoot up to the outside wall all by himself in turn number 1, and I thought maybe that was an isolated incident. But in the 51 did the same exact thing 10 laps later, maybe a little bit more. But he came up the track, being side by side with 33, and just pounded him into the wall. Didn't seem like any intent there per se. I don't know what exactly was going on, but definitely caused that wreck. 5 laps to go now. Now 4 as these guys go down their pace laps. But this is huge. This resets everything. Hopefully have your friends in check with you in front, behind, wherever you need them. Because this is now or never. Once this thing goes green flag, like, you better be in the spot you want to be in.
Yeah, and who else got in that incident was the 44 of Chris Beck, and that he was going to be your lucky dog recipient, but I believe that's going to kick it over to Brian Bliss possibly. We have to keep an eye on and see if he gets the waiver round on it or not, but I think that's going to move him up a spot because 51 Brandon Elder was in that wreck. That put him a lap down, and the 44, so that could be a big payoff for Brian Bliss because we saw his car was pretty fast in practice as well.
Looks like 18 Brian Bliss is lucky dog. He is squeezing his way around some cars that are occupying the top lane, and there he goes around the rest of the field past the pace car. 18 Brian Bliss is your hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Dog Award recipient, sponsored by Martin Sports. So this is going to bring him in the lead lap. Let's see what he has in store for the final few laps. See if that 18 can do anything starting at the tail end of the field.
Yeah, and another tough break there for the 51. He had a great qualifying run. Great run all race, was up in the top 5, top 10 for sure all race, top 5 most of the race, and just that bad luck just hit him again. Oh, so close to the finish on this one, and I thought for a second there we might have seen a Brandon Elder up in the podium finish, but he'll be back. He's having a strong. This is a great momentum to take into the next season. Is having a great run like this, even if it does come with the finish that it is. It's good momentum swing right there for him.
Yeah, just discredit the Daytona is like one of those tracks, and even some other tracks you could say too, where you can discredit your finish just based off the stats alone. While you're racing, you were doing so well, running dominant, up front most of the race, and just because you had some bad luck doesn't mean you had a bad race. So yeah, I think that's going to be a boost to his to self-esteem, momentum entering the final season in 2022, which is shortened to only 10 races in that season to close out the actual season with FTSR in alignment there. But pace lights are off. That means we got 1 pace lap left, and we're going to see that 42 start on the inside row, which I wasn't sure where he was going to start, pending he's been running the top side this entire time, but he's chosen the inside lane for this potential final restart of the race again.
Yeah, I think it's going to be unofficial green-white checkered. I think we might have coming around here, but it's not the league's green-white checkered, so we might have 2 attempts out of here. We'll have to see how this thing plays out, but Brody Hanna, he's going to be starting in 11th on the inside line. We'll see if he tries to make his way up through the field. He's got the 15 and Nicholas Moreau right in front of him, Jeremy. We know how Moreau's car's been all night, and he's got some speed to do it. So we might see Brody and Moreau hook up and try to make their way to the front. I mean, it's going to be quick, so they're going to have to go for it.
Half a lap left before these guys take the green flag, and I don't think this is counting toward the official green-white checker. So yeah, this is your unofficial one. Said just a minute ago. Predictions, I think the 42 is in a great place with the 27. Those 2 cars, I think, minus that 24 on the top, have been the fastest cars of the night. So when you have the 2 fastest cars paired up nose to tail, I think that's a good recipe. Starting on the bottom 2, the first half lap is on the bottom, and these cars are not up to speed. So that's going to be the third lane. But before they get to turn number 3, that's when they really want to be where they're going to be. But the pace car is down. Green flag is out for potentially the final time this evening. And the 42 and the 24 with the exact style restart from each other. They are nose to nose entering turn number 1. That 27 is going to give them a good push here coming into turn number 1 again.
Yeah, if I'm the 42, I'm worried about the 24 trying to clear me because he's got the speed. The 27's great pusher right now as well as they're coming off the turn 4. They're all over the back bumper. The 24 is over 27. There, Jonathan, all over the back bumper, Kyle Milliken. But the 24, Jeremy, getting a great push by Tony Solari as they're heading into turn 3, trying to clear him, but just can't get there. Both these cars are hooked up together as we're getting a great run into turn 3.
Outside has the better setup right now until they got to turn number 3, and all of a sudden the inside had the better setup. The 42 and the 27 gridlock nose to tail. Come up turn number 4 and almost dumps the 42s. They're going to push it 3 wide as he joins the surface, and the white flag is out. And now here's the wreck, the 7, the 15, a bunch of cars. The 67, no caution is out. We got to stay focused on the lead pack here. The 24 leading the charge to 11, second place. The 27 passes 17 to Steve Loomis. He's going to take over third. But we got a half a lap left. That's coming down the back straightaway.
Yeah, it looks like Brody Hanna got in that wreck, so he's going to be out of the championship. So we're going to just focus here on the race lead. As you see, 24 Steven Llewellyn still leading their way in the turn 3 with Tony Solari right behind him. See if Tony makes a move. He's got the 27 right behind him. He's a great pusher. There he goes on the outside. The 11 Jeremy's are coming off of turn 4.
Turn number 4, and the 27's got the huge momentum for the 11. Then Mr. Tony Solari with the checkered flag. Martin Sports winning moment. The 11 gets it done with the help of the 27 on the outside as they continue to wreck as they cross the start-finish line. Tony Solari with Fury Motorsports takes home the checker flag and the victory for the final race of the season. Well done there by the number 11, which I think that's his 3rd win of the season.
Yeah, that's a great one there for Richie Coy too, because Richie said he wanted Tony Solari to accept that trophy, and what a better way than to come home in first place. So
yeah, that definitely locks in the championship winner. We have to acknowledge Richie Coy, who's not here. He's at Universal Studios, and Richie, you can feel better while there because that championship is yours. And that number 11, Tony Solari, your teammate, will gladly do burnouts for you and him combined and take home 2 trophies. And of course, he has to give one up to you. But what better way than have your teammate accept it by winning the race?
yeah, what a great win. And that's his first Cup win. He's had a couple of trucks this season, Jeremy, but that's his first Cup win this season. So what a great way to go out. Fury Motorsports taking the championship, taking the season finale. Close finish there. I mean, who we were expecting there kind of finished up at the front, it did not happen that way. So, what a way to end the season, Jeremy.
Yeah, I appreciate you correcting me. I got the truck stats and the Cup stats mixed up. He's got a couple truck wins, but yeah, that's his first win of the season, and it happens on the last race of the season. So, definitely going to be happy and excited for that going into the short season C coming up next week from Nerd TV on Monday nights. But as these guys get wound down, we have unofficial results to display for you guys. Go over the stats one more time before we do our driver interviews, as we always do. Tony Solari takes home the top spot this evening. Jonathan Varnoskis is going to come home in second place. Stephen Lou Allen finishes third. Steve Loomis finishes in fourth. Kyle Milliken with that strong 42 finishes just inside the top 5. Matthew Fashon, 6th place. Ryan Chapman, 7th. Joshua Johnson, 8th. 9th place, Brian Dublé. And to round out tonight's top 10, Sherwood Williford.
Going home in 11th is going to be Brian Bliss after getting his lap back. Good finish for him. 12th, Brody Hanna. Just going to come up shy in the championship there. 13th, Wayne Grossi. 14th is going to be James Wallace. First car one lap down is going to be Ryan Hetrick in 15th. Josh Mayu 16th. Nicholas Moreau in 17th. Alan Crowell in 18th. Brandon Elder 19th. Chris Beck in 20th. 21st is going to be Justin Dilch. 22nd is going to be Jonathan Vachon. 23rd, Martin Garreau. 24th, Wayne Allen. 25th, Chad Lane. And round out the field in 26th is going to be Alex Murphy. And one of the chats coming through, Jeremy, I think this is going to be Richie. Yes, yes, yes. Go, Tony.
He's super pumped, man. Gets the team victory, gets the championship victory for the team. Just awesome job all the way around. And that 11 has been up front. It's not like he didn't deserve that thing. He was there, top 5, top 10 all race long, just put himself in the right positions when needed. And the 27 propelled him down the backstretch past, the 24 and brought it home, bring home the checkered flag. But as we wait for these drivers to exit their cars and have a post-race interview with them, this brings us to the Martin Sports post-race show, of course, by Martin Sports. Continue to have awesome support for us every race for both seasons. And what an awesome way to close out the season 2022B. We're waiting on a couple of drivers. I think we can bring in second place Varnoskis. Let me just scan, make sure Lou Allen is not available just yet. Don't see him at the moment. So we're going to bring in second place Mr. Varnoskis and see what he's got to say for his runner-up position. Mr. Varnoskis, you got a copy?
Yes, how are you?
Doing pretty good up in the booth, man. That race looked like it was, had its fate set, and then that caution came out and everything changed up. You're able to bring that thing home. In second place, you had a dominant car, first and foremost. So, well-deserved top 3 podium finish for you. Walk us through the race, and then that final restart, you're behind that 42 who was oh so strong all race long. Did you feel like you had a good position with him in front of you?
Yeah, I thought so. He had a strong car throughout the race. I thought we could bring it home together, but I think I went a little bit. I don't know what happened on the last lap. I think I went too aggressive and I put him sideways. I don't know, but pretty happy to come home in second place.
Yeah, it was a great run overall. You started in 20th, brought it home in second. We noticed you were up on the outside a lot of the race with that 42 Kyle Milliken and just powering, trying to make the high side work. Is that where you were trying to think that was where the pass was going to be, or were you just thinking the low side might be where you want to finish that race?
Honestly, it was just about learning the car. I didn't have the chance to do a lot of super speedway with the next gen car, so I would say the first 20 laps was all about learning the car, learning what I can do with it. Obviously, I wanted to see if the outside line could work. So it was all about learning the car to finish strong.
Well, you definitely figured it out, and you were up front all race long. And so, just overall, with not much time on the track with the next gens, congratulations. And I know a lot of cars were loose out there, so you fought through that.
Yeah.
You're able to avoid the wrecks and whatnot, hit the pit stops perfectly, and it brought you home in second place. So just congratulations all the way around to end the season.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. And the floor is yours, man. Do you have any partners out there you'd love to thank tonight before we let you go?
Yes, I would like to thank my teammates at Rumble Racing. Always a pleasure to run with them. Again, thanks to you for the stream. It's really good and thanks to the admin of the league. It's a pretty awesome league, so a lot of fun.
Appreciate those kind words, sir. Go ahead and celebrate with the team on the awesome second place finish this evening.
Thank you.
Was Jonathan Varnoskis, that number 27 Rumble Racing car, just did some work tonight, able to keep it for the most part within the top 5 even. So it's tough, and it's hard to say, or as a driver, to be in the top 5 all race long and avoid everything that happened on the track. That's just alone an accomplishment. But now we have, I think, first place to talk to. I don't see Stephen Lou Allen available just yet. Hopefully we can get him in here. But right now, we're going to bring in your race winner, Mr. Tony Solari. You got a copy?
I do. What's up there, guys?
Hey, man, you got your first victory of the season on the very last corner of the race of the season. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Walk us through that restart, what position you thought you had, and then how'd you get the job done?
Well, it was Sunday drive out there. These Daytonas, I usually don't even bother to practice them just because it's boring practice, and you never know what you're going to get on these plate tracks. And for some reason, I'm a little better at Daytona than Talladega, and we're just kind of riding around saving fuel. Once we realized we could at least go halfway, and I know some guys, if you're up in the front, you just couldn't do it. You couldn't, make that fuel stretch. So I was just kind of riding out there, I was really surprised that the caution came out, to be honest. And, I figured, hey, I'm on the outside row. I know Steve and Jonathan were pretty quick too. So I figured, hey, if I could get Steve out there at front, maybe dip down. And I did, and I gave him a little nudge, kind of going into turn 4 there, and hopefully it would loosen him up a little bit, and I was able to get around him. Yeah, it worked out. Pop the cherry for a change over here.
Yeah, first off, congratulations on the win. Heck of a race. You started 14th, came up with the first place there. So, first off, congratulations on that. Second off, I didn't know if you were aware of this, but your teammate Richie Coy wanted to have you, be presented with the trophy for the season championship. So that's one hell of a way to do that, is to win the race, get your own trophy, and then also kind of take his spot in accepting the championship as well.
Well, that was Mir. He did mention that, and yeah, I knew I was going to kind of take the trophy on behalf of Richie, and Richie's a Class F guy, a Class Act driver, and he deserves he won the truck championship too, I believe, and it's just or ARCA championship, and he's a hell of a racer, and he's a great asset to the team and helps Brody and I out a lot as we help each other out, and it's a great team effort, and it's always awesome to see a teammate pull out the championships, and it was mere coincidence that I was able to get the win tonight to kind of wrap it up in a nice little bow.
I think Richie kind of planted the seed there and knew who exactly was going to win. He picked the right driver, and of course, you're able to get it done for him. So, yeah, but congratulations on that W. That is your first and only win of the season as we head off into the season C. I just want to get your thoughts too before we let you go for next week. What's your thoughts as a team, heading off into the final season of 2022?
Well, we're going to have strong cars as usual. It's just the same Fury thing. I know we're starting off with Boo Hiss Darlington, which is not one of my favorites. So, we'll see how long I last during that race. But we're gonna be strong. Matter of fact, I mean, Brody and I finished first and second when we came here at the beginning of the year, and running the same setups. I know Brody didn't have the night he wanted, and he almost could have squeezed in that championship himself if he would have had a top 3. And just those are the breaks, unfortunately for him. But the team is great, and we got strong cars every week, and we work great together. And we're definitely looking forward to all the seasons, here next year or next week.
Absolutely. I mean, so we're going to let you go, but before we do, any sponsors you'd like to thank before we set you off for the night to work or to celebrate with the team, rather?
Well, I know Richie would say thanks to Tony's mom and dad for watching, so I guess I'll double that, and go shop at Menards, and I got a YouTube channel if you guys didn't know, Z Wings Workshop, and I made some really cool wall art recently. If you haven't checked it out or seen it, it's a little different, and I do some fun shit over there, and that's about it. FTSR is a great league. Season's starting, so if you want to get in on this, we got a nice 10 race season C starting, 87 cars and trucks and cup again, and it's a great league to be in and a great place to be, and all the drivers and all the teams that we're getting in here are just top-notch guys, and a lot of fun to race here.
Absolutely, man. Well, appreciate all the kind words, and go ahead and celebrate with the team, and we will see you next week for the start of 2022 season C.
Sounds good. Thanks again for you guys, and we can't wait to see you guys next week for Cup Series also. So, have a good one.
Yes, sir. And that was your race winner, Mr. Tony Solari, bringing it home for himself and the championship trophy for Richie Coy. I know we can't talk to Richie. Congratulations to you on that championship. Well deserved. It's kind of weird to not have the championship winner not present. So a little bit of difference there. And I don't think Lou Allen's going to be able to come in for the third place post-race interview. So I think with that, Ken, we're going to go to the summary for this evening. What did you think about tonight's race?
Did not finish the way I thought it was going to, and it was a heck of a race all around. The 27 showed dominance, but in the end, the 11 was the clear winner there. And what a pass that he made heading off of 4 there. I mean, he got right on the back bumper of the 27 Lou Allen and just got around him, and that just dragged the 24 down so much. So it was a well executed move and a great win, and what a great way to wrap up the season. Your teammate wins the championship, you accept the trophy for him as you're accepting your own trophy on winning the race. So Fury Motorsports probably couldn't have had any other way other than maybe Brody getting up there, but still great season for all the Fury Motorsports guys there.
Yeah, for sure. And My thought is, man, those cars were loose out there. I did not expect that at all. I thought these things would have been nice and buttoned up, but everybody was on the edge, even with a cooler temperature setup. So, you know, that surprised me. But now there's no more super speedways involved. I think it's all just, you know, your mile and a half, your road course now. So they don't have to worry about that until February. But can't wait to get 2022C underway. Got to start thanking some people one last time before we close out the season finale here at Daytona. Full Throttle Sim Racing League. You heard Tony Solari talk about them. FTSR.net. They got 3 series next season with the 87 Cup cars. That's the new addition. That's the hot item I think everyone's going to be looking forward to. And then you have the trucks on Wednesday. And, of course, every Monday, we're going to be broadcasting the Cup cars presented by Mach1 Performance. So get registered at FTSR.net if you want to be a part of all the action. Speaking of Mach1 Performance, the Cup Series sponsor every Monday. If you have a race car rather, that needs fabrication work, head to facebook.com/Mach1 Performance. If they're in your area, drop your car off. They got some excellent people working behind the scenes to get that car running top notch. They produce champions on both dirt and asphalt, so you can't ask for anything more from a race shop. Sim Racing Points, presenting sponsor for the Truck Series and for the Nerditudes. It's your professional-like league. It sets the league up on the website like no other. It presents all the points, all the stats, everything that you want, even from past races and past seasons. You can go years back with this system, and it keeps it perfectly organized for you guys. You go to simracingpoints.com, get your league registered today. Shout out to Martin Sports at martinsports906.com. Talked about their gloves a couple of times tonight, but they also offer t-shirts, hoodies, hats, customized orders, and the fastest turnaround in the business with your custom order. So that's a pretty cool thing to have customized, and it's like within a week, boom, you have a big order at your doorstep. martinsports906.com. Super Nerd at checkout. It's going to save you a whopping 25% off. Shout out again real quick to iRacingIFlag.com. If you go there and purchase their product, it completes the sim rig with a little LED system that presents 30 different iRacing notifications to you in a fashion that nobody else offers on the market. It looks pretty cool, really bright, easy to notice. You don't have to worry about that little tiny flag in the top left corner that iRacing gives you. Product will get your back and then some. So iRacingIFlag.com. Super Nerd, 15% off at checkout. TheButtKicker.com. Pick yourself up the Gamer 2 unit if you want to put your sim rig on the actual track. You fill everything that the track offers into your butt in your chair, that whatever you're racing with. So pick one up at TheButtKicker.com. Nerd TV for 20% off. Quick shout out to Moonlight Speed at MoonlightSpeed.com. If you're looking to pick up some wins in the wind column, no matter what kind of car you're racing on the asphalt oval side, these guys got your back. That's at moonlightspeed.com. And then Nerd Focus at nerdfocus.com. If you use Super Nerd at checkout, 10% off any 2 flavors that you choose from their website. And this is going to bring us to a close this evening for 2022B. When we come off on the 2022C, I don't think you're going to see myself and Pushib, so it's going to be a surprise next week for you guys. So stay tuned for the season opener on that end, and then we'll resume on week number 2. You guys stay safe out there, and as always, get your nerd on.
Later, nerds.